Hey, my name is Melissa, and this is my new project. It's a 1968 K20 Suburban, one of 299 made. It came from a farm in Illinois. It was used as pretty much a farm tool to tow water tanks and tractors out of fields and stuff. And it's been parked in a barn in 1995 and hasn't been on the road since. So I'm just gonna take you around and show you what our plans for it are. I'm gonna try to turn this engine over and show you how it sounds. I just want to point out the pedal for the gas is missing, so it's pretty touchy. It's kind of awkward. But yeah, that's it running. So now I'm just gonna take you around, show you what we're looking at. So as you can see, there's plenty of rust. We're basically gonna look into getting a parts pickup truck from this generation to see if we can just use the body panels off that. Probably cheaper than just buying each individual panel, but yeah, that's completely rusty. Rockers are rusty, floor panel rusty, but luckily my husband knows how to weld, so he can show me how to replace all that stuff. Should be super fun. Yeah, this is just wound out here. And you might notice this lighter blue color on it. It had a respray in the 80s and it was not a very good job at all. So, take it around the back. Here's this extra bumper they added, which they would have used to attach trailers and all that kind of stuff to tow with. So, and then this side, basically the same idea. Just rotten away. Doors open and close. So yeah, so that's basically, oh yeah, and can't miss those horns. Those are the air horns they would use to call in the pigs and stuff. So yeah, that's the idea for the outside. So let's take a look at the engine bay. So what we've got here is a 292 straight six. And just a fun fact about telling the difference between a 292 and a 250 is if you look in here, you see that fuel pump is behind this motor mount here. And we'll walk over to this engine bay. Here's a 250, and if you look, the fuel pump is actually in front of the motor mount. And I believe the motor mounts are actually parallel here, where here they're offset. Yep, just slightly offset. So yeah, and as you can see, we were running the fuel out of a jerry can because the fuel tank is very rusty. And you can see some funky stuff in here, like this box. I have no idea what this was used for, but there's a wire that goes to it and a switch. So I'm not sure what that is. Here you see the AC compressor, which was used as an air compressor to sound those air horns at the top of the roof. So it's pretty funky. And you can also just see some speakers here. And yeah, so that's the engine bay. Now let's take a look at the rear axle. So here we got a 17.5-inch rim with an old bias ply, a full floating rear axle, and we think it has a 457 rear axle ratio. If we come up to the front, you can see how far this hub sticks out. And you would think that this would have hubcaps that came on it based on these clips, but actually they just didn't make hubcaps for these because they would have had to cut out a hole in the center because this sticks out so far. And they didn't really make many of these trucks anyway, so they probably didn't bother to make the hubcaps for them. Okay, so let's take a look at the dash. So here you can see it has the optional gauges instead of the dummy lights. And where's the miles? You can see it supposedly has 25,949 original miles, which, you know, it's hard to believe with how rough the truck looks. And you see the 4-on-the-floor shifter here, which was an option. And gas pedal is just missing its pedal. It's around here somewhere. And you look at the seat. So the top part is the original seat cover, but the bottom has been covered. And we'll go around to the other side. Look at the glove box options. Okay. So here's the options that were added to the truck. You see the color, light blue, ammeter and oil gauge. It's a heavy-duty radiator, blue vinyl trim, 4-speed transmission, 292 cubic inch engine, front wheel lock hubs, rear shock absorbers, and HD rear spring, heavy-duty rear springs. And then I show you around the back. There you can see the old jack sticker. Jacking instructions. So, yeah. Let's take a good look on the inside. It looks pretty nice. It was reeking of mouse poop before, so we had just vacuumed out a lot of mouse poop out of this thing. It smells a lot better. Oh yeah, and if you look over there, you see that air truck. That's here. Let me show you the air tank. So that compressor in the hood would charge up this tank here. See that? And then you could sound the horn by pulling this lever. So we'll show you a clip of that later. Yeah, so that's pretty much an overall look at the truck. Obviously it's a big project, but yeah, we're excited to dive in and we'll keep you posted.